and see where they can go from there. It is a deep Fenerbahce roster which allows them to cope with the injury problems they've been facing all season. Scotty Wilbeck in the most notable absentee, but Taylor Horton-Tucker there is one man who's helped to deputise for them. The mid-season arrival of De Colo helping out as well, but Horton-Tucker has been excellent, especially in the last few weeks. He's scored at least 23 points in 4 of the last 5 games, so THT, a bit of dynamite in the backcourt for Fenerbahce. And it's clear for Maccabi that they will have to try and cut out the productivity of the 3 guards, Baldwin, De Colo and THT, who combined for 55 of the 79 points scored by Fenerbahce in the win against Milan last week. Nobody else got into double digits. Maccabi with a fairly settled roster over the course of the season. They've had injury problems to contend with as well. Lonnie Walker missed several games. He's back now, but they're missing Ife Lundberg, an influential presence in the backcourt for his experience and his game management, and a very effective rebounder as well. TJ Leaf is missing. Makes the return of O'Shea Brissett even more important. Will Raymond there is one of the better 3-point shooters that Maccabi can count upon, nearly averaging 40% for the season. It'll be fascinating today to see how Tamir Blatt can cope with this Fenerbahce defense, coming off maybe his best ever game in the EuroLeague. Blatt with 4 triples and a total of 14 points, 13 assists with no turnovers. If he can lead the team like that again, Maccabi could well claim a prestigious win, but prizing open the Fenerbahce defense, a different task with respect to Asvel than the challenge successfully faced by Blatt last week. So we are at the Alexander Nikolic Hall today, a return to Belgrade for Maccabi. At least they know their way around this court, even though they would much rather be in Tel Aviv. And these players, realistically, they're all professional enough to know how to deal with this situation. They've faced similar many times over the last few years. Talking about Blatt, there's his numbers, 5.1 assists per game. One of the top 10 in the league in that respect. The top 1 in free throw shooting, not just this season, but all time. Nando De Colo, 97.6% of his free throws converted. He's on a run of 19 in a row. And in fact, Fener have the top 3 in that respect. De Colo is followed by Biberovic, who's missing today, and Bonzi Colson. The starting 5s then. Devon Hall returning after a 5-game absence and straight back into the starting 5, joined by Horton-Tucker in the backcourt with Colson, Birch and Bersan. And it's Jimmy Clark, Lonnie Walker, Horde, Raymond and Sorkin for Maccabi. Ilya Belosevic is the crew chief today, joined by Luca Cardum and Alberto Baena. And they are nearly ready for action in Belgrade, one of the great basketball cities of the world, hosting this crucial encounter for both teams as we get closer to the playoffs. Can Fener make short work of ensuring a top 4 finish, which would give them home court advantage during the playoffs? Can Maccabi get involved in the postseason themselves? They've given themselves a fighting chance with a great run of form, but they've still got a lot more work to do. start for Birsan is something surprising from Fenerbahce coach Saras Jasikovic. It's only his third start of the season, but with two regular starters, Nikola Meli and Tarik Biberovic, not available today. And that's forced Jasikowic's hand a little. Devon Hall back into the starting five is no surprise. He started in 24 of the 25 games that he's been available for. And we are underway. First tip is won by Fenerbahce. And they'll be eager to start well today. They didn't last week against Milan before fighting back in the second half to win. They lost in a shocking way in the Turkish league at the weekend. So they want to be on it from the opening possession. And they're not here because it's turned over by THT with the travel. Lack of fluency in the first possession. Now Maccabi. Jimmy Clark leading the play in the backcourt with Raymond giving it back to him. Sorkin has a mismatch against Devon Hall, uses it to barrel into the paint and finish very well. Roman Sorkin taking advantage of that mismatch he had, bodying his way past Devon Hall for the opening score of the game. Here is Hall now, met by the double team as Raymond flashes out to him. Hall on the dribble, stops, low pass, picked up, shot clock pressure. It can't be finished by Coulson, but the offensive rebound is well grabbed by Birsan. And in the end, Maccabi able to survive that as Ken Birch is whistled for the foul. He's getting his hands on Raymond. Again, it was an unconvincing possession for Maccabi, forcing Coulson into the tough shot. Close to the buzzer. Jimmy Clark finds Sorkin, who gets it done again, similar range. Roman Sorkin off to a flyer. He scored at least 10 points in 6 straight games, heading for a magnificent 7 here. Now here's THT, that's a better look. Nowhere near making it though. Very flat start from Fenerbahce, and if Maccabi score here, get ready for a timeout, as there's a drive that can't be finished by Walker. In transition, Fener now, they've got an overload, 5 against 4. Man open in the corner is Birsan, found well by THT, and they make that transition count. Great awareness and improvisation by THT to somehow get the ball to the open man. Birsan in the corner. First score for Fener. Switching defense puts pressure on Clark as Birch flashes out. And now Birsan on Walker. Did he get him from behind? No. Walker felt he was fouled. No whistle. And at the other end, Coulson does get a whistle as he's met by Raymond. They're giving that as a block by Birsan on Walker. So a clean denial here from behind. That came after this nice assist behind the back from THT for Fener's first scorer. Now this could be their first lead. Coulson, as I mentioned a minute ago, is the 3rd most accurate free throw shooter in the league, behind that man on the left. 94% for the season. And that slow start from Fenerbahce has now been overcome as the reigning champ take the first lead of the game. That will settle them, especially defensively. Now Clark. Again, they switch as Walker tries to fire the pass through for Sorkin, who appreciated the effort, deflected out of bounds. It'll still be Maccabi ball with 5 seconds on the shot clock. Not been a great start to the game for Lonnie Walker with 2 missed attempts, and he is coming off a very poor game. Here he is, open mid-range, and that will boost his confidence. As I was saying, he had a bad game last week, didn't score from the field, only 2 points, both from the foul line last week at Asvel. But he's on the scoreboard now. Birch sends it in to Coulson, going up against Walker, using his height advantage to get a clean shot away. Here's Lonnie again. Same two players against Coulson. Able to find Sorkin, who can ease his way past THT. Finger roll finish, 6 points in a hurry. Without a miss for Roman Sorkin. Birch hands off to Hall. Kicked for THT, runs into a double team. Has to go away from the basket. Fade away is just about good, so there's his first basket of the night. He and Walker capable of lighting up the scoreboard. They both got their account up and going. No good for Clark, but he'll get it back after the long rebound. Challenged on the baseline, comes back out, tries for a three again, and this time he makes it. So that is Maccabi's first long-range strike of the night. From an in-form Jimmy Clark. 10 points in 6 of the last 7 games, 10 points or more. Lee continuing to swap hands here. Coulson forced away by Jalen Horde, who's been very quiet so far. Now the last touch off Raymond. He wants his coach to challenge that. He didn't believe that he did have the last touch. Certainly Jimmy Clark did here as he buried Maccabi's first triple of the night. Chris Silva stepping in, and Wade Baldwin, who immediately gets a mid-range shot up and away. But he didn't beat the shot clock, did he? Or has a whistle been blown for a foul? Yeah, it's a foul on Raymond, his second. Baldwin did get that away in time, and then Raymond fouling a new entrant to the game, Chris Silva. So both the Maccabi changes getting quickly involved. Baldwin with the shot that was off the mark. Silva getting the offensive rebound and earning himself a trip to the line. See there, Devon Hall on his return after a month out. Maybe glad to get some rhythm back with those first 5 minutes on the floor. And we have a tied game as Silva makes them both. And now it's time for O'Shea Brissett to enter the action as Raymond, with those 2 fouls, checks out. Clark for Walker, guarded by Baldwin. Now switch with Silva. And Walker looking to draw the foul, does so. Clever from Lonnie Walker. Dancing around on the perimeter, just trying to get Silva to lose his balance. Just leaning in a little to create the contact, but there was contact. So Silva picks up a foul, and Lonnie Walker will have 3 free throw attempts as we head into a timeout at the midway point of the opening quarter, where we are tied in Belgrade. Maccabi against Fener 11 each.
What do you recall from that night?
I was 24. I still remember it. The whole city, it was ours that night. It was more than just basketball. It was a feeling.
Will you be there?
I never left.
You saw the words on the screen there, sold out. The first phase, second phase, third phase of tickets for the Final Four all went very quickly. Your last chance will be in around a month, the 20th of April. Make a note of that date if you want to try and get your ticket to Athens for the Final Four. Not many left. Will be in hot demand. Fenerbahce, of course, trying to get their ticket to return to the Final Four. Obviously in a great position at the moment. The top of the standings, a 3-game margin on 5th place, and that's the key for them now, making sure they finish in the top 4. Historically, over the last 25 years, a top 4 finish with the home court advantage in the playoffs that follows leads to a place in the Final Four roughly 75% of the time. So Fener are in a great position now to give themselves that great advantage. But trail by 3 here after Walker makes all 3 from the line. Silva throwing it into Colson, guarded by Brissett. That'll be a good matchup. And there's good hands from Clark, good awareness of his feet as well, and Walker can't finish. Picked up by Horde. It was actually Horde who made the save on the sideline. And followed up as well. One of the best noses for a ball in the EuroLeague. Jalen Horde just knows, has that great anticipation of where the ball might drop. Normally rebounding there, it was from the shot from Walker that wasn't finding its way near the rim. But Horde, with nearly 7 rebounds a game, has been so important for Maccabi this season. 2.2 offensive rebounders as well. That makes him one of the top offensive rebounders in the league, as are Maccabi as a team. And we see another change for Fener with Nando De Colo coming in. Meta Chamberson to the bench, and another new entrant to the action is Mikael Jantunen. So it's Baldwin, De Colo, THT, Jantunen and Silva in the game for Fener, and there is some goaltending from Sorkin, so that basket will count. The ball was above the cylinder. Might be challenged though by Oded Katash. You can take it off the rim, but you can't take it from outside of the hoop. So the refs will have a look at this after the challenge by Oded Katash. Let's see how they conclude it.
Go.
Go a little bit back. Go a little bit back. So ball goes down.
Ball goes down. There's a part of the ball inside.
Just that he touch it.
Yes.
You can change the camera if you want, but just to make it.
Just change the camera, just to
Yes.
see, to double check. Over there is the best view that the ball is outside the size.
So we confirmed the decision.
Basket is valid.
Valid basket.
There we go, quick review and a conclusive one. The basket does count, so Chris Silva is credited with his first field goal of the game. And that ends a run of 5 consecutive free throws for Maccabi. Lonnie Walker and Jalen Horde have given their team a 5-point lead. Shall try to take again now as Jimmy Clark, guarded by Nando De Colo. And there's a whistle on Jantunen. He got a hold of Sorkin there. So 4 team fouls now on Fener. No more leeway. Maccabi still have a couple to give. Clark. Again, Sorkin comes. Clark glides through. He was under pressure with the shot. It was no good. Jantunen takes the rebound. You feel a sense of justice in that. Didn't like the whistle. Here's THT into traffic. He's got such strength. He's like a bulldog as he battles through. Great upper body strength. Allows him to keep his balance as he goes through contact. Clark will toss it in. That's a tough pass, though, and Silva was on it straight away. Sorkin was double-teamed, trying to thread a needle with the pass. Baldwin a little low with the pass to Jantunen, who loses his balance, and it's forced out of bounds. Good help defense offered by Sorkin. Look at the strength here of THT. It's not going to be denied. He's up to 4 points and 2 assists now. Baldwin into Silva, who fights his way through Sorkin. It's been a good start from Chris Silva, 6 points. Rebound, a steal. And here he is trying to deny Sorkin at the other end, but couldn't quite get high enough. Those two going to battle again. That's the first assist of the game for Tamir Blatt immediately after stepping in. Now he's trying to guard De Colo. Out for Baldwin. In for Silva again, it's those two. Silva felt there should have been a whistle. Well, there wasn't. And to the other end, it's going to drop for Brissett. Horde was actually going to get credited for it. He tapped it in. Scoring at a fast pace from both teams. This is Wade Baldwin's range. He doesn't miss many from there. Mid-range jumper is normally his bread and butter. And Sorkin again. Back for Blatt for three. He'll be disappointed to make that. One of the better three-point shooters in the league. Now Horton Tucker to the other end, and he misses. Very fast-paced at the moment. Probably faster than the coaches would like. As Fenerbahce try and get a bit of control here. Walker, though, cutting through, misses. These tough games continuing. 1 of 5 from the field. Jantunen for three. That's short. De Colo picks it up, though, and immediately with his quick release, gets it to go. A little bit fortunate the way the rebound fell, but then he made the most of it. 90 seconds to play in the first quarter. It's a 1 point margin. Maccabi still with 2 fouls to give. And here's Blatt. Finds Horde, mid-range, won't go. Great rebound from Sorkin. Barreled out for Blatt. Same shot that he missed a couple of possessions ago. Doesn't miss 2 in a row. Tamir Blatt, 4 triples last week. There's his first today. Now Baldwin for De Colo, wide open. And like Blatt with his first miss, De Colo will be very disappointed with himself not to make that. Maccabi might be disappointed they're not using their fouls here. And they'll slow it down with Lonnie Walker. 4 point margin for Maccabi. This will be their penultimate possession, probably. That was an offensive foul as Walker tried to connect with Sorkin. De Colo set his feet, drew the charge. Veteran play from Nando De Colo. And that's a second foul on Walker as he's hit with a technical, so his frustration boiling over a little. You can see him there prowling on the sidelines. He is not happy. Called for the offensive foul, complained about it, and gives a technical to the best who's ever done it in the EuroLeague from the foul line. Nando De Colo so automatic from the free throw line that he's even immune to the commentator's curse. 19 in a row for Nando. And he duly makes it 20. Guolavi comes in for Maccabi, as does Marcio Santos and John Di Bartolomeo. So it's Blatt, Di Bartolomeo, Lavi, Brissett and Santos in the game. For Fener, it's Baldwin, De Colo and THT still, the three guards with Colson and Ken Birch. And Baldwin gives it to Birch, back to Baldwin. That's a moving screen set by Birch. So the foul whistled on him that will give Maccabi free throws. Yeah, just leaning in to Di Bartolomeo. Horton Tucker gets his first rest of the game, with Brandon Boston coming in to replace him. Now, can they get it in the hands of Di Bartolomeo or Blatt for the three? Both of them very good from long range. And they'll manage this down to the last couple of seconds to try and give Fener no time. It's Brissett going inside. He was met by Baldwin and fouled by him. And so it will be free throws now for Brissett, after the offensive foul committed previously. And then there will be 4.8 seconds for Fenerbahce, but Maccabi, with a foul to use, can try to leave Fener with insufficient time to do anything if they use that foul well. Brissett scores his first points of the night, first point for now at least. Solid all-round performer, the Canadian this season for Maccabi. Gets them both, so now Fener with that possession. Horde will come in. It's going to be Baldwin, Horton Tucker, Hall, Silver and Colson. Now, can they foul him? They had it to use. Didn't get the foul, but it didn't matter because Taylor Horton Tucker was off the mark as he finishes the quarter with a miss. And that allows Maccabi to take a 5-point advantage into the quarter break. They'll be very happy with the way they've competed so far. 4 offensive rebounds helping to contribute to the lead that Maccabi currently enjoy, as we see. They're winning the rebounding battle. They're moving the ball well with 6 assists. They've made good use of their free throws and a couple of triples as well. Fener have really struggled from long range, only 1 of 7. And that was struck by Metecan Beersen. So Maccabi giving themselves confidence that they can compete well with the reigning champ here. As everyone in the EuroLeague Fantasy Challenge is trying to compete with Sasha Vezenkov, owned by 30% of you fantasy players. Horton Tucker now the second most popular player. Hasn't had great numbers so far tonight. THT, who's one of the top 10 most popular captains as well. Vezenkov also leading that list. So not the start defensively that Šarūnas Jasikevičius wanted. If you heard our pre-game interview with him, you'll have heard him say, we've got to be better defensively than we have been in recent weeks, and certainly not been able to stop that man so far, Roman Sorkin, the BKT best player of the first quarter. 8 points without a miss, one of them coming from an offensive rebound, also with 2 assists. So Maccabi, with 25 points in that first quarter, would love to keep that tempo of scoring going. And as we get the second quarter underway, it'll be Blatt, Di Bartolomeo in the backcourt. Brissett, Lavi, and Santos for Maccabi. And here comes the throwdown from O'Shea Brissett, cutting to the basket, receiving the pass from Blatt in full stride. And the two-handed throwdown, forceful play. Now at the other end, the alley-oop, the quick response. Silva receiving the pass from Baldwin. So highlight reel plays from both teams to start the second quarter, and then a miss from Lavi as the rebound's taken by Brandon Boston. And now there's an offensive foul on Silva, which could force him to the bench because it's his second foul of the game. He was leaning in. He complained about it, but he certainly was leaning in. He's staying out there for now and having to guard Marcio Santos. I wonder if Maccabi can get the ball to the big man on the wing. Instead, they go for the three with Brissett. Now, who's going for the rebound? Silva, soaring, but then giving it away. And the three is up from John D. And the captain makes it count. It is a fast start to the second quarter from Maccabi, taking advantage of the turnover. Santos kicking it out to Di Bartolomeo, who doesn't miss many when he can pick his spot from long range, and that forces Saras Jasikevicius into the timeout. We'll go and listen to Maccabi.
We don't leave the three-point line, but here, when he goes to the pick and roll, three quarters, slow him down. We need to slow them down. We can't let them catch speed. The combination of them catching speed and the guard, it's not good for us. We need to slow them down. Any ghost, any pick and roll with the five is like a ghost. Double fist or not? שאלה אם דקו לא בפנים. We play 22. One possession, 22 against the 8 yards. Okay? Hey, make sure we're positioning like this. Go and O'Shea. We extend it. Here we go, here we go. Maccabi. Let's go. One back.
John Di Bartolomeo had been going through a bit of a dry patch from long range before last week. In the 4 games previously, he'd gone 1 of 8 in 3-pointers. He'd only scored a total of 5 points, not an average, a total of 5 points in those 4 games. Then he hit 3 triples in that win at Asvel. And he's continuing now with that 3 that gives Maccabi the biggest lead of the game so far. Now Jantunen back in for Fenner. DeColo, Baldwin in the backcourt. Boston and Beerson returning. Here is Wade Baldwin, sidestep, 3 is up and good. He's not been very good from long range this season. Baldwin only 28%. But finding his range there. Now there's a good pass inside and 1 finished by Santos. Another assist for Tamir Blatt. Pulling it in with his left hand. Jantunen with the contact, which was withstood by Marcio Santos. And they're starting to get a bit of foul trouble here in the front court, Fenner. Because Birch, Silva, and Jantunen now all have 2 fouls. And that's going to send the Finn to the bench. It'll be Birch who returns in place of him, as Marcio Santos tries to convert the 3-point play. Decent free throw shooter, and he maintains the 100% record for both teams from the line. 13 out of 13 between them. So Birch back in the paint for Fenner, as Beerson gives it back to DeColo, up against Tamir Blatt. And it's going to be Beerson for 3. So 2 in a row for Fenner. First Baldwin, and now Beerson, who's 2 of 2 on the evening. Blatt Pass for Brissett, who battles in. We've got a foul whistled on Brandon Boston. Grabbing the arm, yeah. After that strike from Beerson. Here's Di Bartolomeo kicking it to Gurlavi, open, sidestep three. So it's raining from long range. 4 triples in the last couple of minutes. 2 apiece. That's all we've had since that timeout. Now is Birch losing it under pressure from Marcio Santos, who made enough contact to dislodge the ball, but not too much to draw a whistle. As Gurlavi becomes the 4th player to strike from deep in the space of a minute and a half. Tamir Blatt orchestrating again. No-look pass to Santos, who can finish again inside. Maccabi's offense is motoring here. 13 points in 3 minutes in this quarter. And that will be greatly frustrating Saras Jasikavičius, who team throw it away again. He might have to think about another timeout here. Going wrong at both ends for Fener at the moment. A 10-point margin in this game. Lavi gives it back to Blatt. Still plenty of time, 10 seconds. And Blatt draws the foul from Silva. That's his 3rd. He'd only just come back in to replace Birch. He'll probably have to go out again now. Tamir Blatt so far tonight, 4 assists without a turnover, coming a week after he dished 13 assists with no turnovers at Asvel. One of the most informed creators in the league at the moment. And Fener already with 4 fouls. Here's Blatt. Yeah, that was a little too far away from the basket, a bit too optimistic, especially when he's distributing so well. Maccabi haven't committed a foul yet in the second quarter. Horton Tucker returning, spinning inside, hands it off to Silva, who is called for the double dribble, is he? They're all convinced. Another turnover for Fenerbahce. That's 8 now. Silva staying out there on 3 fouls. He's had a very mixed game. 8 points, but 3 fouls and 3 turnovers. Di Bartolomeo into Sorkin, who's back in the action and testing out the defense of Brandon Boston, which is good. Santos battling away, mid-range, off the mark, grabbed though, and they get it back with Lavi missing the shot, but still retaining it. They're just sharper to everything at the moment. And is it going to be another offensive rebound? It is, as Lavi lets it go with the last touch coming off Silva. Maccabi with 7 offensive rebounds already. And now Jantunen has to come back in to replace Silva. Saras Jasikavičius trying to find answers in the front court at the moment. Bonzi Colson also returning. Back with Blatt. Going at Beerson. Pass for Santos. And Devon Hall with the defense. So all change from Fenerbahce. Not going their way, and Saras Jasikavičius trying to find the right dynamics at the moment. Marcio Santos certainly is enjoying his time on the floor. 5 points for him in this run for Maccabi, which has taken them to a 10-point lead midway through the second quarter. As we head for a timeout, let's listen to Fener's.
Bonzi, play the first pick.
no zone. Okay, you can slip. When we hit Devon, Mika, you go. First pick against zone. Mete, baseline. Mika, you gotta go here. Bonzi, shooting. All right? Bonzi, weak side, no zone. Go under the zone, 4 position player.
So guys, right here.
Well, a very calm timeout from Sadaš Jasikevičius. Not always the case when his team is struggling as they have been in the last few minutes. They've been outscored 8 points to 3 in the last couple of minutes of Fener. And in the quarter, overall, it's 13-8 in Maccabi's favour, making it a 10-point margin. And a lot of things that the visiting team need to improve. 8 turnovers with 6 assists. And they need to find defensive answers as well. Starting now, John Di Bartolomeo spinning away from THT to release his second 3 of the game. In fact, no, they're saying that was a 2. His foot was on the line, but still an impressive shot from John D. The captain leading by example as the lead grows to 12. There's Devon Hall now trying to trim the margin. He's fouled by Sorkin, who didn't quite see it that way. Oh, yeah, there was contact. As Sorkin lent in. Look at the skill here from John Di Bartolomeo. He was trying to get himself back beyond the line for a 3. They'll have to settle for a long 2 instead. Maccabi now 50% from 2-point range, 40% from 3-point range, and 100% from the foul line. Having their own 50, 40, 90 club night so far, contributing to 40 points with still 5 minutes to play in the first half. Here's John D again. Thought about a shot. Sorkin will release it. It's going to be another offensive rebound. And great awareness as well by Horde that he was going out of bounds, acrobatically leaping and throwing it behind himself against Devon Hall. Maccabi clicking in every way now. Defense, offense, hustle, rebounds. A finely functioning unit at the moment that Fener are struggling to foil. Blatt continuing in the backcourt as he has throughout the second quarter. Horde on for Jimmy Clark, who's joining Blatt now with John Di Bartolomeo to the bench, and Jimmy Clark says, yes, Skipper, I've been watching. I saw you knock down those shots, and you take some inspiration. He adds one. As there's another turnover, Beerson throwing it straight to Horde. Blatt with the great pass, and Sorkin with the stuff. Transition perfection from Maccabi. 5 assists for Blatt now, 10 points for Sorkin. After a 9th turnover from Fenerbahce. And Sadaš Jasikevičius having to call timeout as his team fall to a 15-point deficit. And we saw a last time out from the Fener coach was calm. This one might be a bit more fiery. His team have been totally outplayed in this second quarter so far. The refs are just going to have a review, I think, of the basket value for Clark's shot.
They don't play for most of the time, unless it's deep catch, they don't play for a poster. Watch the last 8 seconds, dribble end of play, be active and box out.
We have 3 fouls to give on out on tackle drive before that. Don't let him get into the mix.
On offense, we run floppy, just execute.
Maccabi!
Well, it's been an 11-1 run for Maccabi in the last 3.5 minutes. And just showing how well they're playing as a unit, that is 5 different players scoring the 5 baskets for Maccabi. Lavi, Santos, Di Bartolomeo, Clark and Sorkin all scoring, with Tamir Blatt orchestrating much of that. Everything clicking for Maccabi. Nothing working for Fenerbahce. Wade Baldwin comes back in and finds a very open Devon Hall, a defensive breakdown there. Fener with Baldwin, Horton Tucker, Hall, Jantonen and Colson in the game. Maccabi with Blatt, Horde, his Sorkin again. Giving it back for Clark. Fake, 3, won't go, but Sorkin, well, how many chances did Fener want to give him? Nobody near him for the offensive rebound, which he somehow contrived to miss. So he just grabbed it again, and this time scored. That is 11 offensive rebounds now. And there's one for Horton Tucker, who just gets above Horde, beaten by the bounce. We'll need a few more of those. 11-4 in offensive rebounding in Maccabi's favour. Sorkin has 3 of them on his own. Here's Sorkin, a little too ambitious with the pass inside. Looking for Horde, deflected out of bounds. Horton Tucker preventing it from reaching the target. John Di Bartolomeo returning to give Blatt a break. Well-earned breather for him. So it'll be Clark back in the point guard role. Horde setting a screen from here. Colson with good defense. On the buzzer, doesn't come close to the iron. And so, for once, Fener get a stop. And now, Di Bartolomeo, good game awareness, using the foul. They still have a couple more to give. Not letting Baldwin make an easy advance towards the basket. O'Shea Brissett back in. And Marcio Santos as well. So it's Clark, Di Bartolomeo, Brissett, Horde and Santos. Plenty of rebounding as Horton Tucker is fouled and seemed to hurt himself. Brissett made the contact there. I wonder if it was a knee-to-knee on Horton Tucker, who will go to the line. He's not found his shooting range yet. His 3 scores, Horton Tucker, have all come close to the basket. He's missed a trio of 3-pointers. Now misses his first attempt from the line as well. Fenerbahce with just 14 points in this quarter so far. Horton Tucker trying to get things moving. Now Colson penalised, as he just gives Marcio Santos a bit of a helping hand, which will send him to the line. The Brazilian centre, who really has settled well this season, his first in the EuroLeague. He's only 23 years old, joining from the German club Ulm in the summer. Looks like he's here in the EuroLeague to stay. He's been a very solid all-round provider for Maccabi. Averaging nearly 7 points a game, nearly 2 rebounds. And the kind of player as well whose contribution doesn't always show in the numbers, because he just gives energy and hustle. And pretty good free throw shooting as well. One of the many things Maccabi have done well today. 10 of 10 from the foul line. 2.5 to play before half-time. And Armando Baycott is in the game for the first time. Nando De Colo returning as well. He steps back for the long two, and offensive problems. You need someone to sort them out. Not many better to call upon than him. Nando De Colo, his second score of the night. Now wide open is Horde in the corner. They left him alone. Coulson was sucked inside. And Horde adds to the list of Maccabi players converting from long range as they go past 50 points already. And now De Colo, I think he stepped out of bounds there. And that is 10 turnovers committed by Fenerbahce. You just need to look at the stat sheet to see some of the areas where Fenerbahce have been struggling. Here's a drive. It won't be finished by Clark. He was met on his way up. They've got fouls to give, a foul at least. Baldwin getting it back now. De Colo. Receiving again, shooting over Santos. 2 in a row for Nando. And I think maybe Oded Katash will say here, why didn't we use the foul, guys? Last 90 seconds of the half, we've got a foul to give. Don't let Nando De Colo have an open three. Because that's what he will do. Becomes the joint leading scorer for his team. 8 points now, 3 of 4 from the field for De Colo. And it's Katash who calls the timeout, just trying to make sure the last couple of possessions for his team allow them to take a double-digit lead into the break. What an offensive half it has been. 51 points. Saras won't be happy with it.
We already forgot one-time jump. Let's work. Be careful with the fouls. We're in bonus, but we need to wake up.
So a big upturn in offensive fortunes for Fenerbahce in the last few minutes. At one point in this quarter, they went 4 minutes without scoring a field goal. Nando De Colo has 2 in 59 seconds. Now they'll try and marry that with defensive improvement at the other end and see if they can chip away at this lead to get it back to single digits. A trap on Di Bartolomeo, gives it up. Here's Horton Tucker with the transition throwdown. And they do get that defense, forcing the turnover. And now another. So Fenerbahce with a great response to what has been, on the whole, a pretty lousy first half. And they're showing some resolve here. First, Di Bartolomeo coughed it up. Baldwin giving it to Horton Tucker for the dunk. And then another quick turnover. Gives possession back to Fenerbahce. Here's De Colo trying to get away from Santos, cleverly pats the ball against him before colliding with the photographer. Looked like there was a hand on the waist there. Santos might have got away with one, I think, there. They do have a foul to give. Horton Tucker has reached 500 points with that last dunk. Here's Baldwin, 3 seconds on the shot clock. Tough one, gets it away, but doesn't get it to go. And then, despite the acrobatics, Coulson can't quite make the save. So Maccabi do keep their double-digit lead intact, just about. And they didn't use their foul. Back in is Tamir Blatt. So it's Silva. Now with being the trap applied, but it's Blatt who can take on the turnaround three, and just like that, Maccabi get back on the scoring track. Coach Jasikavičius is not happy, and he's been hit with a technical. So he felt that the refs missed something there. I'm not quite sure what, but whatever it was, it caused an outburst that has given Blatt a chance to add on another point after just making that spectacular three. And he does. So just when it looked like Fenerbahce were going to finish the half strong and narrow the gap to single digits, Maccabi with a 4-point play, including the technical foul. And they have a foul to give here, remember. So it may well be that Maccabi won't get the ball back again in this half. It's Baldwin, Horton Tucker, DeColo, Colson and Baycott on the floor for Fener. The switch on to Santos, who makes that foul, and it's a shooting foul. He felt he got him on the floor. I wonder if Coach Katash will challenge this. It looked like he was still dribbling. And the next decision, of course, is how many free throws, if there are to be them. And it's 2. So he was inside 2-point range. Coach Jasikavičius with 1 technical already needs to curtail his complaints a little bit. Santos won't get that foul reviewed, and Baldwin will go to the line. So Baldwin makes both. There are 9 seconds remaining still for Maccabi now. Brandon Boston coming in for his defense. Maccabi will have the option of trying to give it to Blatt, maybe on the buzzer, or Lonnie Walker, who's back in for the first time since he got called for a technical in the first quarter. Instead, it's fed inside for Jalen Horde on the buzzer. Great pass from Jimmy Clark. The look-away dish, and Clark with his 5th assist, making it easy for Jalen Horde. He drew Baycott to the ball and then just handed it off for Horde to go up strong. And that is the perfect finish to a pretty perfect first half offensively from Maccabi. 57 points scored. And an outstanding 2 quarters from the Israeli team. We're going to go courtside, get some quick reaction, starting with Chris Silva.
Chris, problems with your turnovers and their offensive rebound. What do you have to do to improve that in second half?
Take care of the ball and play some more defense.
Thank you.
Well, there's a quick and accurate assessment from Chris Silva. Now we'll hear the Maccabi version of events. Much happier from Roman Sorkin, the leading scorer in the game.
Great first half. How do you feel?
I think we play good offense. We need to pick it up more in defense. I think the few last minutes we kind of let it down. But great overall. Obviously, they great team, their first place, and we lit him. But we need to play the same way the second half and trying to get the win. Thank you.
Yeah, they're certainly well on their way to an impressive and important victory. Maccabi at the moment, a 14-point margin, but we know Fenerbahce can come back. Maccabi will look for similar production from Roman Sorkin, 12 points and 4 rebounds. Chris Silva will hope he can stay out of further foul trouble. He has 3. already, which might limit his playing time in the second half, in which the reigning champion will need to mount a big comeback because they are trailing here in Belgrade by 14. Maccabi well on top.
EuroLeague brought to you by Etihad, Beyond Borders. Experience Abu Dhabi. Motorola. And BKT.
This one here, my firstborn daughter. It's her name, Zari Mays, with her heartbeat from when she was inside her mother. So this is probably the one that means the most to me. I kiss it before every game, before I step out onto the floor, and it just my motivation, so to speak. This is probably the latest that I've gotten. Actually, my first one was with this basketball when I was younger, probably like 15, 16. But in terms of like meaning, probably like my brother's on my wrist, and this little saying here, my grandma always had it up in her house, live, laugh, love. It was something that my grandma always kind of preached in the house, and something I've tried to carry with me along the way. I have like a lion on my chest, probably the longest one and the most painful one by far. Yeah, just the art of it, the representation, what it means, you know. For me, it was always, you know, be able to have something on you that kind of just gives me like a constant reminder of different things in my life, what I've been through, where I've come from, and just to have that, carry that with me daily.
There's more pressure than anything. When you go up somewhere, there's a lot of pressure, or they're gonna tell you if you don't do this, you're not gonna make it. And you have 0.1% chance to make it. People gonna tell me I'm crazy, but for where I'm from and all the people that knows where they come from, how they grinded so hard to arrive where they wanted to be, the pressure for us is just like, it's something I would say simple. You need to have pressure to be a good player. I'm from Paris, France, in a suburb. I call this the hood and the getaway. It's super difficult with school, with fights, murders, crimes, and all that. You know, it was super hard to get out of it. But you're the only one who can believe in yourself. Every 6, 7 years you're moving. Since I'm 12 years old, when I was 13, 14, I left my parents to go to the state to try something new and to chase my dream. I'm super competitive. Everybody knows how much I want to win. You know, sometimes I can be hard on the guys, but I know where I can be, who I can be hard on. I have experience too. I'm 28 now. That's crazy. But actually, it's just, you know, I know how to talk to the guys and motivate them. When I'm missing 4 or 5 shots, do you say something? No. Why would I say something to you? I'm just gonna motivate you. And that's how it is when you want to be a leader, when you want the teammates to be better. But when we're in practice, it's different. You gotta make this, I don't care. Because in the game you miss that, in practice you gotta make it, so you don't miss in the game. You know, I gotta play like it's my last game and this is what I want, this I know the team, that's what the team wants. So there's pressure everywhere, but you handled this when you was young, and now you're somewhere where everybody believe in you. I feel like it's something, you know, simple. If you don't have confidence, sometimes the games that's really important, you're not really gonna perform, and it's super hard to make it. But if everyone have confidence and really execute, it's always good. Even if we lose one game, we always locked in and trying to make sure, okay guys, we just gotta stick together and win the other games. And I'm telling you, when you have a team that have a good chemistry and they really like together, no one can beat the teams like that. Final Four. That's what we want.
EuroLeague brought to you by Etihad Beyond Borders. Experience Abu Dhabi. Motorola. And BKT.
So a bit of an upset brewing perhaps here in Belgrade at half-time. A 14-point lead for Maccabi over first place Fenerbahce. As we look back on some of the key moments in that first half, perhaps not really fair to say an upset brewing the way Maccabi have been playing in recent weeks, winning 5 of their last 6. And in this competition, the most competitive in the world, it's not really an upset when anyone beats anyone. But perhaps the margin of it would be the surprising things. Maccabi have been good value for their double-digit lead so far. They've been effective inside and out. Converting shots at a good percentage, dominating the rebounding battle. Moving the ball well, taking better care of the basketball as well. And a great all-round contribution, although Roman Sorkin was very much impressed with 12 points. There's plenty more, including with that big throwdown, O'Shea Brissett. There's been much less cohesion for Fenerbahce. That alley-oop was an example of when they have been on the right page. But Chris Silva, who had that alley-oop, has 3 fouls to his name. As we look at all the numbers, Fener have actually been more effective inside. 11 of 16. With Wade Baldwin dishing 5 assists so far, but they have taken on far fewer shots. Because 2 things, offensive rebounds, we see there 11-4, and turnovers 10-4, so they're automatically 13 more possessions for Maccabi, who have consequently seen their lead grow and grow. I say Maccabi with 41 shots so far in this game against 27 for Fenerbahce. Here's all the scoring and distribution from the 24 players. Roman Sorkin leading the way in points, with both Jimmy Clark and Tamir Blatt on 5 assists. 15 assists in total for the team and only 4 turnovers. Fener have 9 assists and 10 turnovers. So pretty clear where things have to change for Fenerbahce. They've got to take better care of the ball. They've got to compete better for rebounds. And they've got to avoid foul trouble as well. Chris Silva was seeing his scoring for the night. Some battling baskets for him. But he has 3 fouls. Mikael Jantunen and Ken Birch, the other big men, have 2 apiece. So a bit of a juggling act for Saras Jasikevičius. We'll be hoping to avoid more foul trouble like that in the second half. There are the numbers for Silva in the limited time he spent on the floor. He's been effective, 7 minutes. He's scored 8 points on 3 of 4 from the field, 3 rebounds as well, albeit with 3 turnovers. For a player who's still finding his way in the EuroLeague, only making his 6th appearance since joining in January. Here's his coach, Saras Jasikevičius, won't be happy.
Coach, 10 turnovers, 57 points for Maccabi. What didn't work in first half?
Nothing. I'm not sure what worked. Not our physicality and our approach, that's for sure, you know. I mean, they have more rebounds under our basket than we do under our basket, so that's probably saying everything about the fighting.
Well, pretty obvious he wouldn't be happy, and that particular stat he's pulled out. Yes, 10 defensive rebounds for Fener, 11 offensive rebounds for Maccabi. It's hard to compete when that happens. Ode Katash will be delighted, no doubt.
Coach, great first half. How do you see it, and what do you need to improve in the second half?
Obviously, it was good half. We played the right way. I think we need to be more aggressive right now on defense to cut a little bit more of their cheap points, the running game, offensive board.
we're doing okay. We just need to keep the rhythm.
So Coach Katash certainly not taking anything for granted yet. There's a long way to go in this game, but he'll be happy with pretty much all of those numbers so far. With his team shooting the ball well from everywhere, moving it well. Those offensive rebounds, if they can come anywhere near taking 11 offensive boards in the second half, they are on their way to victory. Look at all those second chance points as well. 6 times they've scored as a result of the offensive rebounds they've taken. Roman Sorkin has been one of the outstanding individuals, by no means the only one. He has 12 points so far on 6 of 7 two-point shooting. He's taken 3 of the offensive boards that Maccabi have managed. And he's dished a couple of assists as well. Sorkin, as he has throughout the season, showing great touch around the basket. He can be forceful as well when he needs to be. As we look at his numbers, 12 points in 16 minutes. And clearly a defensive focus in the second half has to be preventing Sorkin from having that kind of influence again. So Maccabi back in Belgrade, their temporary second home from home, where they've been very warmly welcomed over the last couple of years. They've been made to feel at home here, and they look like they feel it today. Ironically, the best individual performer in the second quarter was Fenerbahce player Wade Baldwin, with a BKT top performance of that second quarter with a PIR of 10. Mainly distributing tonight. He only has 1 field goal in his 5 points. He has 5 assists. They need to come out with greater intensity, greater effort, as noted by their coach at halftime there. Saras Jasikovic, you can be sure he will have challenged his players in the locker room during the halftime break to show some more fight. They're in a great position at the top of the standings. They shouldn't, even if they lose today, go into enough of a free fall to lose the top 4 status that they and all clubs so desperately want. But you don't want to head into the playoffs in poor form. Now is the time of year. Late March, moving into the springtime, heading towards playoff time. This is when you need to step up, not drop down. So ready for the second half in Belgrade. A big 20 minutes ahead for Maccabi. They have to win probably 6 of their last 7 games to get up into playoffs contention. They're halfway there in this game, but halfway doesn't get you anywhere in this competition. They've got to finish the job now. And the first possession ends with the 3 from Jimmy Clark. It was actually well defended. A smile on his face as he trots away. Good game from Jimmy Clark, 8 points and 5 assists. Now Fener's first possession. It's Bonzi Colson looking to respond with his 3-pointer, and he does. So both teams up and running quickly in the second half. Clark, Jalen Horde manufactures the pass for Lonnie Walker, who's still having a tough night. 1 of 6 from the field. Now in transition, Beerson sets his feet and makes his 3rd triple of the night. 3 out of 3 for Metachan Beerson. Outperforming his usual standards. as Sorkin tries to battle through and is well defended by Horton Tucker. Metachan Beersen only averages 2 points per game. As Sorkin receives the inbound pass and had an unobstructed route to the basket. Horton Tucker now drawing a foul at the other end as he clatters into Sorkin. Couldn't quite get his feet firmly planted. And he went airborne the previous play. Sorkin with the strong finish, now committing his second foul. Those two will have to have a big part in a comeback for Fenerbahce if there's to be one. They'll be coming off the bench in due course, Baldwin and DeColo. Hall and Horton Tucker starting in the backcourt in this second half as they did the game. Not a bad pair of backcourt bench boosters, DeColo and Baldwin. Horton Tucker becomes the first Fenerbahce player in double digits. And misses for the second time tonight, though. Well rebounded by Will Raymond. And here's Jimmy Clark. Finds the pass to the corner for Horde. Back to Clark, who'll drive at Beersen. Good work. Sticking to his task. Clark goes behind the back. The floater is short, and Beersen taking the rebound. So adding to his scoring with some good defense. Horton Tucker again driving, kicking it back for Colson, looking for a second three-pointer of the half, but can't make it. Walker with the rebound and now fouled. In transition by Beersen, who's getting more playing time tonight with the absence of Tarik Biberovic. As I mentioned, he came into the game with an average of only 2 points per game. He'd only made 2 three-pointers all season. He's 3 of 3 tonight. It's already his highest scoring game of the season. And he's back on defensive duties as he goes out to meet Walker. Walker, mid-range, foul. He still can't find his way from the field, but he'll get back to the line. Lonnie Walker, whose frustration spilled over in the first quarter when he was called for a technical foul. Beersen, for all the compliments I was giving him, not getting any from his coach right now as he's called to the bench. Jantunen returns. And Walker can't score from the line either at the moment. That's the first free throw miss for Maccabi tonight. Does get that one to go. He's up to 6 points in total, 4 of them from the line. Now here's Colson, finds Jantunen. Raymond defending Hall. It's shoveled on to Horton Tucker. Good rebound by Walker. That's the kind of thing you've got to keep doing if you're not scoring. Keep working hard for the team. As Jantunen fouls him, and now that's his third. Both he and Chris Silver on 3. Ken Birch is in the game now as well on 2. It's been a theme from early on, foul trouble for Fenno, which could keep on piling up, especially if Birch gets another. He's out on the perimeter here, guarding against Horde. Handed off to Walker. Finds the pass for Sorkin. Kicked out for Horde, who travels. It's Clark, in fact, excuse me. Good defense again from Horton Tucker. Wasn't buying the fake. And drew the whistle. Now Baldwin will step in. Replacing Hall in the backcourt. Here is Wade Baldwin giving it to Horton Tucker. Trying to get away from Sorkin. Baldwin coming off the screen to the left, shoots, won't go, and flying in with Sorkin. 5 rebounds for him now tonight. Much slower scoring second half so far as Walker misses again. Baldwin running into Clark. His first foul. One thing Fener certainly have done since the break is look after their backboard. No offensive rebounds in this half yet for Maccabi. Fenerbahce need to keep it that way. And there's Baldwin here. Tries to bounce it through for Birch. Football from Maccabi. Baldwin for Coulson in the corner. Forced away by Raymond and now Sorkin. Birch was trying to post up against Raymond. The pass didn't come to him though, and here's Horton Tucker. Really tough dribble. And in the end, the call goes against Fenerbahce. As Raymond plants his feet, draws the foul. Excellent defense on the interior from Maccabi. And still defense is on top. Fener haven't scored a 2-pointer yet in this third quarter. Much improved interior defense from Maccabi. Here's Clark trying to wriggle through, but it's taken away. And now in transition, it's Onural Bitim. Gets his own miss back. Bitim just coming in and immediately having an impact with the steal. Let's see if it leads to points. DeColo on the floor for the first time in the second half, and Clark is called for a foul off the ball as he wrestled with Jantunen. We're in a bit of a drought at the moment. No points for more than 2 minutes. No field goals for 3 minutes for either team. O'Shea Brissett stepping in to add a bit more physicality for Maccabi. Here's Jantunen. Rolls around and out. He stays stone cold, 0 of 3 from the field. Tamir Blatt trying to give a bit more offensive fluidity to Maccabi. Low scoring quarter so far, 6-7. Blatt with 5 assists and no turnovers in the first half. Lonnie Walker staying out there, trying to get himself going. Switches on to DeColo. Blast past him, and it's not going to go. And Birch wrapping up the rebound. DeColo in transition will go in. Draws the foul from Sorkin. Nobody better than Nondo DeColo at drawing contact as he drives into the lane. He's the best free throw shooter in EuroLeague history, and he was also one of the best at finding his way to the free throw line. Sorkin with his 3rd foul, so he will have a break now. Marcio Santos back in. DeColo with a streak of now 21 free throws in a row. If this goes down, he'll be up to double digits in scoring again. The player, of course, who's 2nd all-time in scoring in the EuroLeague, just behind Mike James. And, of course, he does make it. Now a double team on Blatt, who loses it. Baldwin drives, but brilliantly taken away by Brissett. Walker tells Blatt to get out of the way. Frantic stuff. And now Maccabi will slow it down and cool it down as Walker keeps control of the basketball. Bittim trying to defend Blatt and then gets his foot on the ball. Showing plenty of hustle since he's come into the game, Honorat Bittim. And that will take us into a timeout, a third quarter that has been really dominated by defenses. We haven't had a score from the field in coming up to 4 minutes now. Maccabi will be happy with that because they have retained their double-digit advantage. Fenerbahce just trying to chip away at it and get himself back into this game. As we look at some of the long-range shooting that we've seen tonight. Jimmy Clark has hit a couple for Maccabi. Bonzi Colson started this second half with one for Fenerbahce. And no one has been better than Mete Chamberson with 3 of 3 from beyond the arc. And between these two teams, we've had 3 triples in this third quarter. Only 1 2-pointer, Roman Sorkin from the inbounds play, dunking it for the only 2-pointer of this quarter so far for either team. The last 4 points have all been from the foul line. So the question of which team finds offensive fluidity more quickly could decide who wins this game. If it remains a dogfight like it has been in the third, Maccabi should have enough of a lead already to get the job done. But they won't be taking anything for granted by any means at this stage. Blatt, if anyone can create, it's him. Looks to do so on the baseline for Horde, who's fouled from behind by Birch. And now that is foul trouble for Fener in the front court. There are 3 main players there, all on 3 fouls. Jantunen, Birch and Silva. With still 14 minutes to play. Horde, 2 of 2 from the line so far tonight. As the sequence continues of only free throw scoring. Now 4 minutes since a field goal for either team. Horde up to 9 points plus 5 rebounds. Fener with Baldwin, DeColo, Bittim, Jantunen and Birch. Jantunen and Birch both on 3 fouls. DeColo guarded by Brissett. Very good defender. He'll try and keep Baldwin away from the danger zone now as well, and he does so, forcing the errant pass, which DeColo can't retrieve. Fener had done a much better job of looking after the ball in this third quarter so far, but not there. That's their 12th turnover now, and Brissett's defense was the reason why. Excellent, firstly on DeColo, then on Baldwin. Birch will sit, and Silva comes back in for the first time this half. A matter of rotation in the paint for Jasikevičius now. Now Walker, wide open, Horde, gives it back to Walker. And he loses track of the shot clock. Coach Katash has stayed patient with Lonnie Walker. He's kept him out there throughout this third quarter, but it's just not happening for him. 1 of 8 from the field. And a turnover there as well. A shot clock violation. As Baldwin gives it to DeColo. Here's Silva. Brissett tries to stand his ground. Silva barges him out of the way, but not with enough force to draw the whistle. And finally, we have a field goal for Fener. And now we have a whistle. It is blown against Brissett, who was blown by Silva. Collision between Brissett and De Colo. And the decision actually has gone the other way. De Colo doesn't believe he was fairly treated there. But it will send Brissett to the line, where Maccabi have been outstanding tonight. There we go. Most players fall to the commentator's curse. It's only De Colo who's immune. And Brissett does make that one. So they're just about able to keep this lead in double digits, even though they haven't scored a field goal in more than 5 minutes, Maccabi. Here's De Colo, fired up after that call against him. He'll go at Marcio Santos, who stands his ground but is called for the foul, still muttering away. Nando De Colo, his competitive juice is still flowing at the age of 38 now. That takes them into the bonus as well, so it's De Colo to the line. .25 of 26 from the foul line since he joined Fenerbahce. Had another one. This season's and the all-time leader in free throw shooting. Maccabi escaped the press, but another foul whistled off the ball, and this time it's Bitim who does get the call in his favor as he flies to the floor. A dramatic tumble. I think he sold it to the refs there. Tamir Blatt sending him flying. And the decision goes against him as the disjointed, scrappy nature of this third quarter continues. Here's De Colo trying to add a bit of artistry, but can't do so. Silva with the rebound, though. And then just about able to get it back. De Colo will go inside this time, and now he does get it to drop. Quizzical look at the ref, asking if a foul might be whistled, but it's De Colo with 4 points in a row, making it a single-digit margin for the first time since the second quarter. Maccabi need to find some offense now. Blatt for three, can't do so. They get the rebound, though, and now it's Levy back for Santos. Another miss, but he's fouled. And it's Chris Silva with his fourth. Jasikovic just needs to be careful because he's been called for a technical foul already. And he did in his follow-through. Silva ran into him. Here's De Colo's score at the other end. And Silva then, his reaction, he knew it was a foul. His coach didn't like the call, but the way he reacted, he turned his head in frustration as soon as he made contact. So Maccabi again get themselves to the line. They haven't scored a field goal in 6 minutes. The lead has been steadily eroded. But it could still be double digits if Marcio Santos makes all of these. So Silva back on the bench now after committing that fourth foul. Ken Birch will replace him. Santos misses for the first time tonight. This game becoming a real grind. Defense is battling hard. Santos makes the second. It was just inside the three-point line when he was fouled. He will head to the bench with Sorkin back in. So De Colo with Baldwin in the backcourt. Here's Jantunen looking for the three. It won't go. Baldwin hustling away is able to deflect it off Blatt. Great work from Baldwin. They are certainly giving it their all physically in this second half. That was the chief complaint from their coach at the break. They just weren't putting in the effort they have done in this third quarter, restricting Maccabi to just 10 points in 8 minutes. And back to a 9-point margin. Baldwin can toss it out to Jantunen, who spins away and now will push it towards the basket. Can't score. Birch can't follow up either. But now can Maccabi find the basket from somewhere? Not with that kind of pass. Lavi had no chance as Tamir Black commits his third turnover of the quarter. Another indication that this Fener defense is regaining its usual standards. Best defense in the league. They weren't in the first half, but they are in the second. And it's getting them back in the game, but that's not going to help. DeColo and Beerson getting their wires crossed. Maccabi only had 4 turnovers in the first half. They've had 6 in this third quarter so far. And they haven't scored a field goal now for 7 minutes. And that will continue because another whistle blown on Brissett this time as he leans in on Bitim, who certainly contributed to the defensive effort that Fener are putting in. Here's DeColo open for 3, and it's the Nando show for Fenerbahce, who have halved the deficit since the break, and Nando DeColo is the main reason why. He has scored 7 points in the last 2 minutes, taking him to a total of 17. That's the highest scorer in the game now, with great efficiency as well. 5 of 7 from the field, and enough to force the timeout from Coach Katash. Here's Saras.
In transition, under. Red every time, 1 every time. If you feel that they are just playing on the pass, fake of 1, fake of red. The most important is don't fucking throw the ball around like crazy. When we don't throw the ball over, here when we don't have huge fuck-ups, we actually coming back. Just be as solid as you can, like always. On offense, play again, step small.
Apologies for a little bit of strong language from the coach there, but he's much happier than he was 20 minutes ago because the defense is starting to lead to offense through Nando DeColo. 17 points on the night for Fener's veteran, who's showing his class to try and lead this comeback. And it's the 11th appearance for DeColo since he returned to the club, and it's now his highest scoring game in his second spell. He had 16 points last week against Milan, now up to 17. The lead cut to 6, but the real story here is Fener's defense. Absolutely blunting Maccabi. Can they change that now? Tamir Blatt up against Bitim, who again gets his foot on the pass, deflecting it away from the intended target, Sorkin. 72 seconds to play in a third quarter in which Maccabi have only scored 10 points. Nearly all of those have been free throws. Now here is Clark. Again, they can't score. Again, it's well boxed out, this time by DeColo, doing it at both ends. He gets the screen now from Birch. Finds the pass to Bitim, baseline, kick out, good ball movement. Baldwin, DeColo in the corner, another 3. 10 points in 3 minutes for Nando DeColo, 20 in total, and it's a 1-possession game. Blatt replying finally for Maccabi. How they needed that. Their first field goal in 8 minutes. How timely it was as well from Blatt, answering DeColo at the other end. Now, final possession of the third quarter for each team. First Fener, here's Baldwin. DeColo has the hot hand. He switches positions with Baldwin on the dribble, mid-range jumper. Baldwin off the mark, Birch grabs it. Can't score though, but he is fouled, much to the astonishment of Sorkin. Birch grabbing the loose ball. Oh, where was he touched? Sorkin as well, going for his 4th personal foul there. So not just costly for the free throws that it gives Fener, but for the fact that one of their key players is now walking a bit of a tightrope on 4 fouls, heading into the 4th quarter. So Maccabi will have 7 seconds. As John Di Bartolomeo is substituted in. Replacing Sorkin, it's Blatt, Di Bartolomeo, Clark, Horde and Lavie on the floor. It's going to be Clark. Jimmy Clark looking for the buzzer beater and gets it. The 2nd time in this game, he's been decisive on the end of quarter buzzer. At half-time, it was his pass for Jalen Horde to score. This time he does it himself. And after a 3rd quarter in which they desperately struggled offensively, Maccabi are able to score with their last 2 possessions. The triple from Blatt and then the layup from Clark on the buzzer, allowing them to take a 6-point margin into the final quarter. It could have been a lot better for Maccabi. They've been up by double digits a long chunk of the time. They've been up by as many as 17, but it could have been a lot worse as well, because Fener really took control of the middle passage of that 3rd quarter, thanks to their defense and the shooting of Nando DeColo. And we very much have a ball game heading into the final period. As we look at the numbers, Fenerbahce now with greater accuracy from both 2- and 3-point range. They've really tightened up the rebounds as well. Only 1 offensive rebound in that quarter for Maccabi. And they've tightened up the scoreboard as well. Look at just how they've been getting closer and closer. Those 9 lead changes we've had in this game, all of them came early on. The last time Fenerbahce were in front was at 16-17 with 3 minutes to play in the 1st quarter. After that, Maccabi went on a bit of a run and they've been ahead all the way. As we see, Nando DeColo leads all players in the EuroLeague so far, very early in this round. And in terms of fantasy points, he and Eliakobo. It's a night for French shooters with Sylvain Francisco up there as well. DeColo, by a long way, was the best individual performer in that 3rd quarter. 12 points for a PIR of 13 for Nando. And he's helped bring Fenerbahce back into a position where they can really challenge in the final quarter. A 17-point margin it was at its peak. It was 60-43 early in the 3rd quarter. But Fener have taken 11 points off that lead so far, and with 10 minutes to play, they've got the bit between their teeth. They've got DeColo still out there. He gives it to Birch. On to Bitim, who's being rewarded for his defense with more time on the floor. Baldwin, shot clock is low. He's going to have to send up the shot on the buzzer, and that's his first 2-pointer of the night. He'd missed 5 in a row, and that was maybe his hardest shot. If Baldwin starts joining DeColo in the scoring stakes, then Maccabi are in trouble. Jimmy Clark, Marcio Santos, guarded by Bitim, nearly loses it, does lose it. DeColo comes away. He's got Baldwin now drifting over to the other side of the court. DeColo will slow it down, plenty of time. He switches onto Blatt. Now Baldwin up against Santos, well defended. Baldwin felt he was fouled, the refs didn't. And it's Maccabi in transition. And it's Clark to the rim and to score. Very similar to his finish at the end of the third. A 7th assist for Blatt. Clark with 12 points. And that'll give Maccabi confidence that their offense can start to flow again in this final quarter. DeColo shovels it out to Beerson, gets it back. Mid-range, nowhere near this time, and Horde can just watch it out, and maybe DeColo has lost his hot hand as he has his first 2-point miss of the night. Jimmy Clark wasn't missing there, determined drive and strong finish from him. It's Blatt, Clark, Horde, Lavie and Santos on the floor for Maccabi. And Birch is whistled here for his 4th foul. Remember, the foul trouble has been an issue tonight in the front court for Fenner. Silva already on the bench with 4 fouls. Now Birch will join him on 4. So will it be Silva who comes in, or will Colson have to play the 5 position? Or beat him maybe? Or Jantunen, who's on 3 fouls himself. It's Jantunen who at the moment is out there. As Clark, confident for 3, won't go. Good rebound by Horton Tucker. On the dribble now. Beerson looking for his 4th three-pointer. What has happened tonight to Metachan Beerson? Before this game, he had 2 triples all season at a 15%, 1-5 conversion rate. Tonight, 100%, 4 of 4. 1 possession game again. And now another whistle off the ball, and this time it goes against Santos. And that's his 3rd foul as he grabbed a hold of Bitim. What an impact he's had. Not on the stat sheet necessarily. He hasn't scored, he's only got 1 assist and 1 rebound, but in terms of bringing cohesion and defense to the team, Honorat Bitim has been a bit of an unsung hero tonight for Fenner, who only trail by 3 now. And here's Devon Hall giving DeColo a break as Horton Tucker drives, and it's a charge against him as Santos that time got the whistle in his favor. Just after he committed his 3rd foul at the other end, this time tables were turned and he gets Horton Tucker to commit his 3rd. Great work by Santos. So Clark, Blatt, Brissett, Santos and Horde for Maccabi. This game building up to a big finish, especially with this kind of defense. 3 Fenerbahce players battling to try and take the steal, as Clark was fighting to try and keep the ball. Devon Hall gets a bang on the arm, and it's Jan Tunen who just got his arm on Clark there, who adds to that foul trouble by being whistled for his 4th foul. So all 3 of the bigs now for Fenner are on 4 fouls. Now they wish they had Nicolo Melli out there right now available. And here's Saras shouting across the court to the ref that he feels the call should have gone the other way. Jantunen staying out there on 4 fouls. As Clark finds his way inside, gives it to Santos, and there's the jam. Clark with 7 assists now. Santos up to double digits in scoring. Maccabi holding on to their lead. Jantunen wants it inside. It goes across to Beerson, who tries to find Jantunen, but it was just a little low and he couldn't quite stretch out and haul it in. Fenner do not want their turnover problems to resurface. How about this distribution from Clark penetrating with athleticism and then dumping it off. He's got to be one of the contenders for the fan favourite vote. Here's another. Horde. Just can't get the shot to go, but flipped back brilliantly by Santos. Blatt, sidestep 3, too long. And Horde is whistled. That will only be his first foul. But Maccabi have only been able to take 2 offensive rebounds in this half, compared to 11 in the first. Here's Horton Tucker. Defense is on top, as they have been for much of the second half, but that's a bit of a foolish foul by Jimmy Clark, fouling the three-point shooter for his third of the night. Clear contact with the arm and then rolling his body into the man as well. So much as Fener have front court foul problems, Maccabi are getting some now as well, with Clark on 3, Santos on 3, Sorkin on 4. But Hall having a tough night from the foul line, 1 of 3. His return to the EuroLeague after a month out injured. He'll have one more opportunity now. Another miss, but it's grabbed by Jantunen. He can't score. And in the end, it's Beerson showing he can do more than shoot threes, as he fights away and sticks it in. Just a 2-point margin. Clark is fouled on his way up, so he'll go back to the line. Devon Hall with his first. But Clark's aggressive drives to the basket have really been a feature of this game, as with Horton Tucker at the other end. Clark with his first free throws coming up. Maccabi are 16 of 19 overall tonight. In what's become a low-scoring second half, every point is crucial here. We see Nando De Colo back in for Fener. Michel Brissett replacing Santos for Maccabi. Wade Baldwin also returning, as Horton Tucker has a break for Fenerbahce. So it's Horton Tucker replaced, Baldwin and De Colo on the floor. Jantunen finally makes one. Excuse me, it was Bitim. Jantunen with the assist. Bitim gets the points that his hustlers earned. His first score of the night. 1-point game. They just keep on getting closer and closer. Lonnie Walker's been sent back out there by Coach Katash, as Clark can't get the 3, but Brissett with the rebound. Clark will try again. Lonnie Walker, only 1 field goal tonight. Thinks he was fouled there, and he was. Coach and player in discussion, as Jasikovic and De Colo didn't quite see it the same way. This was Onural Bitim shooting the 3. As we head into a timeout midway through a very tightly contested fourth quarter. And this game getting closer and closer, and now it can't be any closer, just a 1-point margin. Fenerbahce finding alternative heroes tonight. Metecan Beerson and Onural Bitim with their last 3 field goals. And that's what champions do. They find a way. They had an awful first half. They've got foul trouble to contend with. They've got injuries to deal with. They've been very flat for a lot of the game, but with Beersen hitting 4 triples, also grabbing 3 offensive rebounds, and Honorat Bitim coming out and giving great defense, and adding a 3 as well. They're showing that they run deep in the roster. Beersen is making his 82nd appearance in the EuroLeague tonight. And he's already way into his best scoring night. His previous high was 10, up to 14. And he's only 1 PIR credit away from equaling his career high in that respect as well. Now here's Lonnie Walker. 6 of 7 from the foul line now. 6 of his 8 points have come that way. He's 1 of 8 from the field. Baldwin, DeColo, Bitim, Beersen, and Jantunen playing on 4 fouls. And here's Beersen. Trying to post up, drives now. Turns it over though. He couldn't find DeColo. And now in transition, it's Walker. Great pass, Brissett with the layup. And coach Jasikevicius doesn't like what he's seeing. He calls the timeout. As Lonnie Walker, maybe he's giving up on shooting. He can't score from the field. But a great dish there for Brissett to go up to 9 points along with 6 rebounds at a time when Maccabi really needed it. And they've scored the last 4 points to just pull 5 ahead again. A lot more twists and turns to come in this one though. Still nearly half a quarter.
Nando work, we play, we can roll 4. When Nando comes off with the 4, wait, you need to read, you hitting Mika or you hitting your own? Or this pin down. Nando long, Nando play long, Mika pin down. Here we go, let's go. Huge.
Well, free throw execution could be crucial in this one. We're building up to a close finish. And Maccabi have been very good from the line tonight, 20 of 23. And Lonnie Walker's contribution has been the most telling, 6 of 7 on a night where he's really struggled from the field. He has kept his poise from the line. It'll be Wade Baldwin with DeColo. Still the same 5 out there for Fenner. Beersen and Bitim. Beersen has played nearly 22 minutes now. DeColo, the leading scorer in the game with 20. He's going to be among your contenders for the fan favourite vote, as the shot is off from Jantunen, who's 0 of 7 from the field now. Brissett with his 7th rebound. Can Maccabi stretch their lead a little further? This would be the great time to rediscover their offensive fluidity. As Brissett goes up against Jantunen, spins one way, the other won't go. Horde with the rebound, but throws it straight to Beersen. And there's the finish from Bitim. Those two combining again. Beersen with the steal and the drive, and then the assist. And Honorat Bitim with the finish and 1, as Clark gets whistled for his 4th foul. So we've got 5 players now on 4 fouls, 2 for Maccabi, Clark and Sorkin, both of them key players. And for Fenner, the 3 bigs, Jantunen, Silva and Birch. As the free throw is missed by Bitim. So it remains a 3-point margin. Clark escapes the double team and finds Lonnie Walker. Does he have the confidence to keep shooting? He'll rotate it out instead for Clark. Back for Walker. He's going to have to shoot. Shot clock low. Lonnie Walker scoops it off the mark. Birch rebounds. Fenner run in transition, down by 3. And here's Birch Back out for Beerson. Baldwin. Slows it down, drives at Sorkin, who's on 4 fouls, gives it to Birch. Swatted from behind by Brissett. His second block of the night. And what a key one it could prove to be. We're down to the last few possessions now. Inside the final 3 minutes, Maccabi desperately clinging on to the lead they've held ever since the first quarter. Lonnie Walker finds the pass to the corner for Brissett, and he makes the 3. What a night he's having. O'Shea Brissett, a block at one end, and turns it into 3 points at the other after the no-look pass from Lonnie Walker. This was what started it. He goes up with the block. Maybe Horde got away with some contact just before that. But Brissett was there to swat it against the glass and finish it at the other end to take it up to a 6-point lead. As a timeout is called by Coach Jasikevicius. Time starting to run out for Fener now.
Talon, act like you aggressive and play pick and roll with Nando. We got Palm, we slip, Mete, we go Talon, you come, aggressive. Somewhere around here, Nando, make a handle for the 3-point shot or your penetration. Would you rather go with the right hand? Let's go. Let's go.
Ife Lundberg there, the injured Maccabi guard, giving some advice to O'Shea Brissett, but he's doing a great job. The former Philadelphia and Boston player, O'Shea Brissett, the Canadian, has made it 5 games in a row with a PIR of at least 10. He actually has the best out of all Maccabi players in that category with 18 now, 12 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds, I should say, 2 blocks. As we get back to it, Baldwin with Horton Tucker and DeColo, the 3 guards out there for Fener. Mid-range Nando, automatic, 22 points. 7 of 10 from the field for DeColo. Maccabi with Brissett, joined by Walker, Clark, Horde and Sorkin. Sorkin and Clark both on 4 fouls, as is Ken Birch for Fener. Here's the pass to the corner for Sorkin! And it's back-to-back triples for Maccabi. That offense rediscovering its spark just when they needed it. Here's Horton Tucker trying to answer likewise at the other end. He can't, and Birch grabbing the loose ball, but with a whistle. As we see again, Sorkin from the corner. That's his first 3-pointer of the night, and that is last action for Ken Birch. That foul was his 5th and final, and that foul trouble they've been juggling with since early on has caught up with them. And it will allow Clark at the other end to add another one to the lead for Maccabi. Well, the scoreboard has just gone the wrong way there. Yeah, we'll sort that out. It's an 8-point margin now, and it's starting to look like Fenerbahce's comeback will fall flat. They were down by 17 in the third quarter. They got it back to a 1-point margin, but they never got ahead. Maccabi just held on to their lead. And they've scored 11 points in the last 3 minutes, as at the other end, DeColo misses, doesn't get a whistle, and that will probably be it now. Only 80 seconds left. Maccabi with the 9-point lead. They can take their time, run the clock down. Walker to the corner, Sorkin turns the shot down this time, goes inside and misses. That really would have iced the game. Fener still have a chance now. Baldwin, sidestep, DeColo, he'll go inside. Forced away from the basket, and now the foul is on Jantunen, and that's his 5th, and disqualifying. As he tried to make some space for De Colo, he grabbed a hold of Di Bartolomeo. And in fact, check that, it's gone the other way. And it will be Jantunen to the line. Di Bartolomeo, the one whistled for fighting there around him. And Jantunen, who's had an awful night of shooting, 0 of 7 from the field, does just about bounce that in. So they just about stay alive, Fener. 7-point margin. And Jimmy Clark returns, replacing Jalen Horde, who's a point and a rebound away from a double-double. Double team on Clark, who escapes it, finds Walker. He finds Blatt, who finds Sorkin, who throws it down. Fener coming with the full court press. That left Sorkin with the space at the other end. Now Baldwin will rotate it out. And Walker, with great work defensively to bat it away. He's had a really poor night shooting the ball, Walker. 1 of 9 from the field, but he's still contributed to his team with his defense and his distribution. And now with just 38 seconds to play, surely there's not going to be enough time for Fenerbahce to get back into this one. Roman Sorkin with a 3-pointer from a corner and then a transition dunk. And surely put this game to bed. Let's see what Saras says.
Mete goes here. Mika, here. Nando, act like you're screening Mete. Scale and you go and you screen your own. Mika, you screen your own. Somewhere here, Nando shot. Okay, so it's very important, Taylor, you don't let them switch. Mika, it's very important, you don't let them switch. That's huge.
Well, not so long ago, it looked like Maccabi's hopes of forcing their way into the play-in had vanished after they lost against Valencia in round 25. But since then, they've beaten Partizan, Zvezda, Bayern, Monaco, Asvel. And now they're very close to defeating Fenerbahce, as De Colo will go to the line. Fener didn't take much time off the clock there before Brissett committed the foul. That's Di Bartolomeo actually with his third. So De Colo will have a couple of free throws. And then it's probably time for Fener to look to foul. If Maccabi are allowed to take time off the clock, there just won't be enough time for Fener to get back into this. De Colo 6 of 6 from the line, 23 points in total. Takes his streak to 25 in a row. And Julie adds another. Now Sorkin back in for his scoring ability. Firstly, Fener will go for the steal. Full court press. As the pass comes to Clark, who gives it away. Baldwin is fouled, and so that is the ideal outcome for Fenerbahce. They get the steal with Clark unable to find a teammate. Baldwin jumps in, is fouled by Brissett, and it only took 4 seconds off the clock. So Baldwin can make it a two-possession game here, which he's done already. And the nerves are jangling, even for someone who's seen it all before hundreds of times. Right, their owner, chairman, Shimon Mizrahi. He's been in that position since 1969. 57 years. But what he's seeing here is enough to make even him nervous, as his team face a big 30 seconds now to try to keep their playing chances alive.
And Jimmy, I want you to get the ball and separate. You understand the trap is coming from the inbounder. So nobody is here. Right? So, Roman, Tamir, you go. You go, far. Okay? Jimmy, you go, then we let you get the ball in. And Roman, immediately you go same side. One, but right with Jimmy. O'Shea, when Jimmy go, Roman, you go right there. Immediately. And when Jimmy gets the ball, O'Shea is right there. And you have also safety, Roman.
Hey, me passes. Be strong with the ball. Maccabi.
Well, no games are easy in the EuroLeague, but Maccabi do have a relatively soft schedule after this. 6 remaining games, only one opponent currently in the top 10. They've got to play Dubai, Efes, Baskonia, Paris, Hapoel and Virtus. So they look at that and think, we can go 6-0 there. If they win this one, they'll then look forward to the rest of the schedule with confidence that they can still get into that top 10. So they've got to win this one, and it's nearly turned over there as Beerson tried to grab the ball immediately. Can Maccabi keep hold of possession this time? They didn't do it last time. Fenner coming with the full press again. And is that a foul? It's on De Colo, as he made contact with Clark. No, it's actually going to be Fenner ball. Coach Katash seeking clarification. And then he also wants it to be reviewed. So a key moment here. Whose ball will it be? Fenerbahce coming out with aggression to try and force another turnover. And they've done that. It won't be reviewed, I don't think. So Maccabi just cannot take any time off the clock at the moment. Still 32 seconds. Who can Baldwin find? Goes out to De Colo, exactly who he wanted to give it to. Mid-range, De Colo! 3-point margin now. They only took 4 seconds off the clock there. But there's a technical foul here on Beerson, I believe. And that's a gift for Maccabi, who are getting nervous right now. Blatt misses it. There's the nerves. Well, Fenner have scored 6 points in 7 seconds, 4 free throws, and the 2 from De Colo. And that's why the technical was called on Beerson, not allowing space for the inbounds pass. He'll try and do the same thing again, but first we're going to go to a timeout, as both coaches try and keep their players calm and get some good execution. Maccabi still up by 3. Fener by no means given up on this. What a valiant effort from being 9 down to make it just 3. There's still 28 seconds to play. Let's see what kind of instructions the players are getting. Well, we'll see some of the recent action. De Colo there, receiving the pass from Baldwin. And the mid-range jumper, good from Nando, who's up to 26 points. Baldwin now with 6 assists. De Colo with great accuracy tonight. He's made 8 of 12 from the field. Rolling back the years, and with Mike James out injured at the moment, Nando De Colo getting closer as the all-time leading scorer. I think James has enough of a margin that he won't be overtaken, but once again proving himself to be a great of this competition, De Colo tonight. What leadership he's offered, and more work to be done. Can Maccabi firstly get the ball in play and keep it for a few seconds, force Fener into the foul? Then can they convert from the line? Black couldn't last time out. Who are they going to get it to? Sorkin finds it back for Clark. They're taking time off the clock. Fener need to make the foul. They can't do so, as Sorkin finds Brissett. And what a sequence of play for Maccabi. They took 10 seconds out of the game. I think every player got a touch there. And it finishes with the flush. Now Horton Tucker, back for De Colo, short for 3, and that surely will be it. Blatt was sleeping though. He's very scrappy, but Maccabi come away with it, and that will be it. The end of the game as Blatt misses, but it doesn't matter. That previous transition play was enough, and they have somehow seen it home. They've held off a furious comeback from Fenerbahce, who were down by 17, then came back to a 3-point margin in the last 30 seconds. But it was that escape from Maccabi. Maccabi are able to avoid blowing it at the end. Frustration for Fener, who have lost 3 out of the last 4 now, and their position at the top of the standings will remain intact, but looking a little bit more precarious as this one finishes. Maccabi 94, Fenerbahce 89. A game that was far, far closer in the end than you would expect